So welcome to this Analyze Your Trade presentation. This is my first time being on one of these sessions, so hope it goes well. Maybe if so, maybe I'll be invited back. But thanks to David, Anka, and the team for having me on. And it's my understanding that this is kind of just a session built for you guys, for you to ask me any questions you want, any tickers, symbols, markets, asset classes, all that good stuff. Just do me a quick favor, type in a Y or yes if you guys can see the screen, and we should be looking at Skyworks, and we'll take a look at that. Hey, Dennis, good to have you. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, is I want to go over just kind of a quick top down, looking at the key markets that I track, trade, and follow. I call them, the core markets where the smart money, where the institutions are involved. And then what I want to do, I'll break that down, kind of give you a high level overview of where we are right now in today's market environment. I will give you not really predictions, but I'll give you my analysis and my take so you can kind of understand my thinking, how I approach the markets, how I use just basically price action analysis. But then what I would like to do is share with you some of the tools that I use in my decision-making process. So you can kind of get a quick, high level, full picture overview of what Silas does and what Trade Trading does. And if that works, I'd love to, if you just type in the chat, if that works, you can type in a 1 or a 2. And then obviously I'm here to look at your tickers and symbols. So let's start here just from the top. And the markets that I always start with are pretty much these. So I look at what's called the 4 horsemen, the S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, and Dow. And then I'm looking at the dollar index. I'm looking at 30-year bonds or 10-year notes, but usually 30-year bonds. I'm looking at crude oil, gold, and then I'll also look at the major currencies against the dollar. And so Aussie, pound, Canada, euro, yen, Swiss franc. But I don't just trade futures or commodities. I trade anything that moves. That's the beauty of trading price action, and also the beauty of using smart money tools that I'll be going over here shortly. So if you look at this chart, hopefully you guys can see the green and red levels. Does everybody see the green and red levels? Type in a Y or a 2 or just something. Let me know you're live and you can see this, okay? And so essentially what this is showing me or telling me is basically my roadmap, okay? And I know that I know immediately my bias. So as we go through this exercise where you're going to give me a symbol or some random ticker that I probably haven't heard of, I'm going to immediately know my bias. And that's why what I at least want to kind of show you, and hopefully you'll kind of look at it and go, oh, okay, I see what this means. So before we talking about the S&P or some other market, I want to explain to you what this means. So these levels here that you see in red or pink, these ones here that you see in green or light green, these are called zones. And this is part of my Titan Trader indicator. These are called Titan levels. And all that is smart money institutional levels, okay? This is where we expect the market to be supportive, where we expect buyers to come in, where prices are at a discount. These are areas, the red areas are what we call our Titan supply levels, where we expect maybe some selling to come in, or if we're long, where we should be looking to take profits, okay? And so we use it both ways. I'll break this down on how we use these for entry points, but we also use them for exit points, okay? What we're trying to do is, let me this. And what we're trying to do when we get into a trade is we're trying to take it from level to level or level to level, okay? And what these zones represent is called multi-time frame analysis. So I used to do all this by hand where, I get my little rectangle tool out, be just drawing, hundreds of zones. Well, you can see these letters here, D for daily, W for weekly. And then over here, we also have 240, which is the 4 hour, and so on. And so what I always like to see, I want to see this through a multiple time frame lens. Okay, I want to see, and I like to see clusters. So here's what I call a Titan clustered. We have daily demand zones and weekly, so all there together. Okay, and what we will then do is we'll try to marry this up. If we can match these zones up, especially where we have clusters, to a 618 or 786, just using basic Fibonacci analysis from here to here, we know that we have a high probability reaction point. All right, high probability reaction point. Let me find my little drawing tool. There we go. So we know all this in advance, all this selling pressure that came in. We knew we had a weekly Titan level and a daily Titan level, but we also were at a 618, 786. And so what we're doing is we're expecting a reaction. I don't ever want this to be construed as, okay, this is a buy here, sell here type thing. We're expecting a reaction. And then when we get long down here, which we did, we're looking to take it back up to next level, which is 61.25. And so we know that if we're long, as we get or approach these levels, we better be thinking about tightening up our stops, tightening up our exposure here, because we expect a reaction. Yeah, can the market come up here and then blast through or just blast through? Yes, but very rarely. More commonly is you're going to see this type of reaction. You're going to start seeing some of that buying pressure starting to slow down, maybe one last gasp, and then we ultimately or usually find a failure. And so my point is, I'm trying to make you understand, because I'm going to be flipping through several charts with you guys. I want you to understand what we're looking at. So what, if nobody's ever seen this before, what would we be doing in this gray zone? If you had a gray zone, a white zone, a black zone, whatever your background color is, where we are now, what is your bias, or what is price action currently telling you? Now, you can forget the zones. You can forget we have pink and red and green and all this Christmas going on. But if you see this right now, what is it telling you? What is your immediate bias? David, you got it exactly right. Do nothing. Or this is what I actually call, you'll hear me refer to as no man's land. And this by having Titan indicator on my chart, it allows me to flip through, literally dozens of charts and symbols, and I know immediately, should I be long, short, or out? Or what's my bias? Is my bias bullish or bearish? But when prices, let me ask you this, another pop quiz, and then we'll get into some setups and some charts. When we get into this red zone, we've already talked about it, guys. When I get into this red zone, what is our bias, or what is our thinking? What is our thinking? While you think about that and answer that, what is your bias as you start tapping down into the green zones? Yeah, you're looking to be a seller and you're looking to be a buyer. And if you remember, you could do that just alone and have some pretty damn good odds. But like I said, if we could align that up with a high probability fib, if I take the fib tool and I now go from this acre low to this acre high before we knew this was going to happen, prices retrace into 786, which lines up with this fresh level. And ultimately, the way we do this, I don't think we have enough time today, is I then go into the lower time frames and look for entry confirmations. And we got a couple of key entry confirmation tools. So as we were coming down here, we knew on the higher time frame, we're deep into a discount area. The markets have been heavily sold. We get a confirmation signal through this pattern here. And then as we traded up here on the higher time frame, we started to get divergent signals right here. And that is essentially all I'm doing with what I call the three amigos. I've got my Titan levels. I've got a 3S code buy sell, which is all price action, by the way. And then I've got divergence, which is just another price action pattern that we've had coded. So this is a 1 hour, David. So you have the flexibility, and our students, have the flexibility. If you want to stick on the daily time frame and swing, that's fine. If you want to go down to the 4 hour or the 1 hour, in fact, if you want to go down to the lower time frames, the 1 and 2 minutes for execution, you can do that. But what I want to do here is quickly go through the key markets, as I said, and I want you to see how really this becomes a rinse and repeat process, and that's ultimately, I think, where you want to get your trading and your thought process to be as you approach the market every day. You want to go in here and you want to look at the market. And you want to go. You don't want to sit there and scratch your head. Gosh, I just don't know. I just don't know what I should be doing. I just don't know what I should be doing. You should be long, short, or out. And if you don't know, then you don't know, and you should sit on the sidelines. But looking at this quickly tells me that it's choppy, right? It's range bound, it's tight, likely waiting for news this week. But look at this one. This is a trade that we got in and executed. This is a little bit cleaner, right? You saw the ranges on the S&P and NASDAQ were a little tighter. I'd rather trade the S&P and NASDAQ, honestly. But they weren't really giving me good opportunities. Over the last week, we identified these trades setups in the Dow. It's the indices. They're generally moving in tandem, but here we see prices pressing, after all this buying, pressing into a daily and weekly zone, which, by the way, were untested. Okay, untested. And you see the momentum starting to slow down. You see that on the daily, because you had big buying pressure, then all of a sudden the brakes get put on. And then if we come over to the lower time frame, in this case, the 4 hour, you could track the same price action on an hourly, on a 15-minute or 10-minute if you want. But I'm not doing a darn thing until I get a price alert that we traded into 45.077, which, so this doesn't mean anything, even though we had a nice reaction. This is the bread and butter. We hit 45.077, which is a weekly and daily Titan level, a 786 as well. I have a whole cluster of divergence signals, and that's all I'm doing. I'm waiting for price to come to me. I'm waiting for price to come to me. Okay? That's all I do. If we're in no man's land, if you're not positioned in the Dow right now, I'm not doing anything. What am I doing though? I'm looking at short. Where am I trying to take it down to? I'm trying to take it down to this daily level. What am I doing here aside from taking profits? Give me two other things that I might be looking to do when we get down to this zone. Anybody want to throw a guesstimate out there? Phone a friend. We're looking to be not only are we looking to take profits, we are tightening stops, and we're looking for potential long signals, new buys. Now, what else could we add from a confluence perspective to continue to stack the odds and give us what we call probability enhancers? If price is coming up here to this area, we know that we're looking to sell. Agree? Type in A if you agree. We know we're looking to be a seller. Now, what if you knew that from a seasonal perspective or a cycle perspective, that the equity markets tend to find a cycle high around this time period? This is my Trend Insider. So Trend Insider gives me this is my main dashboard, my main hub, and I can come down here, look at sectors, indices, all that good stuff. I've got scanners built in here based off of seasonality, based off AI that updates every day, giving me my highest probability conviction picks. But if I just wanted to look at an individual symbol, whether it's diamond, Dow, SPY, futures, if I want to look at Dow futures, rates, meats, grains, softs, energies, metals, currencies, Forex pairs, sectors, global ETFs, individual stocks. We got to overlook for 4,000 instruments. And when you start giving me some symbols, we'll take a look. But I know that based on where we are from a calendar perspective, I will never just follow. I would never look at some piece of material that said, hey, we buy on this date, we sell on this date. I want to look at what price is doing. Does price match up with time? This is the time component. This is my price component. So pushing into this level, if I only traded on that data alone, just pure price action, I would take that all day. But I also want to see, okay, where are we from a seasonal perspective? I'm focused only on trading the high odd peaks and troughs of any market. Again, over 4,000 instruments. What would we be doing? What would we be doing right here? Would we be looking to buy or sell? Think about if price is down here at this time. Think if price is down here at this time. What is the average retail trader doing right here? Yeah, they're selling. They're selling new lows. We are not, because we know the seasonal winds are behind our sell as we head into the end of the year. Just like right here. If we are here in price, which will turn 2025 on, we're pretty much there. We're pretty much there. We know the odds or the path of least resistance is to the downside, and considering where we are here as well. How about taking it a step further? How about adding more odd enhancers or probabilities to your side? We also have what we call COT, or commitment of traders data. Okay, and what we do is we track we find legacy reports. We type in legacy reports, and what we do is we track the data on a week-to-week basis. Okay, these updates once a week. This is all the data coming from the cftc.gov website. We can see the positioning. We can see the big buying and selling, what the institutions are doing. So let's say in the S&P last week, they've gone from 67,000 contracts net short to 22,000 contracts net short. Still net short, but that's a 45,000 contract change. This is not made by Johnny or Susie retail trader. This is smart money activity. And so we follow and we track all of that each week to see where that smart money positioning is, and are they at extremes. If they are at extremes, our antennae, or antenna, however we say it, starts to go up, and we look for and try to match and marry up those setups and odds. Okay, and so just going down here and looking at other key markets. As I said, what I try to do I know it's very fast and furious. I'm trying to go quick and high level about the process, how I quickly move in and out of markets, knowing where we are based off of key institutional levels, why we are looking to sell here. We have a signal and a divergent signal. Why we're looking to sell here, we have a signal. Why we're looking to buy down here, deep into tight levels with a signal. Why we're looking to sell here with a signal, and you've got daily, weekly, tight levels. And we're doing this in line with favorable and bullish seasonality. So we're getting long crude all day long, right? We look at gold. We know this is the most bullish time of the year, one of the most bullish times of the year for gold and precious metals. If you look at this chart, you shouldn't be doing anything other than waiting for retracements to possibly buy here, 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 and here. Okay? You're not looking to sell, because what you need to be doing with any trade is looking to the left. Do you have any reference? You don't. When you're at all-time highs, there's nothing to reference. Therefore, don't try to fade that freight train unless you're going down to a lower time frame and you have those price action skills to do so. And so that is basically my process. I'd love to answer any questions and also take your ticker symbols. But a lot of folks, they come in and you have the analysis paralysis going on, and you're wondering where to find the best trades, the best ideas, and the best opportunity. where does the best opportunity lie? Silas, where are the best odds trades? Where are they in this universe? I'm tired of trading NVIDIA and super micro and chasing Tesla and this and that. If you're making money doing that, then that's fine. The place that I go and get ideas from are here through Trend Insider. Every day or every week, I can click here. I immediately get my top scans. I keep this to a top 5, but I have the ability to expand it. I can look at 50 at a time if I want. I can look at commodities, so on and so forth. And then every time I'm looking at a potential trade, I'm plugging it in here to Trade Insider. Right here, I want to see, am I trading in line with seasonality? So first step here is if Ingersoll Rand popped up on my radar as a long buy signal, does it line up with a tight level? Yeah. So, wait for our confirmations. Another one that was on the list, CINF, right here, that I gave subscribers. We're at a tight level. We're at a tight level. We've got 200 support. We're at least trading with data. That's another point I guess I should try to make. We're making data-driven decisions and not based off gut or hunch decisions. And that becomes very powerful. Where else am I getting ideas? Well, we're looking at COT data, our COT reports every week. I can see which markets are popping up, which markets are sitting at extreme levels to the long side, the short side. What are the top 5? What is the positioning looking like, across these markets? We're long grains because of this right here. Look at the last 4 weeks. We've gone from 321,000 to 368,000 to 420,000 to 440,000 net long. They're buying. Funds, smart money are buying. Institutional activity picking up, and that is why we are long corn. We're down here, actually. This is why we are long wheat from down here. And we do this with not just futures and options on futures, but also with ETFs. Where else do I get ideas? We call it Elite Insider, okay? Elite Insider. We track insider trading from politicians, by insiders meaning corporate insiders, C-level execs. Who was that? CEOs, CFOs, directors, chief marketing officers, the head janitor. No, they don't count, but the guys that have the know inside the company. And then we have what we call Wall Street hedge fund gurus. So we break that down to 3 categories. We click politicians. We can see what stocks politicians are actively buying and selling. Corporate insiders, again, what are they most active buying and selling? Then we can come down here. I like to look at buys. We see very simple every day. I go through. Okay, I see 9.9 million. I see 1 million buy. I see $350,000 buy from the director. I see a $500,000 purchase by the director, senior VVP. We have CEO buys, CFO buys, cluster buys, and then we have the Wall Street hedge fund gurus. Okay, which funds are we looking at new buys? Are we looking at additions by hedge funds and the largest institutions? So that's where I get my ideas, guys. And then once I do, I find ideas. I'll give you a couple here. This was an insider transaction that we spotted yesterday. We saw, what was the other one that I gave yesterday? I think OVLY. This one we issued yesterday around the 25.75 area. And it's not just about, finding these ideas from, let's say, we had so-and-so buying some random pharmaceutical stock. Or we see, we come over here and we see, the the trade desk popped up on your algo scanner. Let's just go buy it. No, we want to confirm that, and we can do that using our tight levels. By waiting and trading down in these levels and waiting to sell these areas, these give us the highest odds and best reward versus risk entries. Okay, 3-minute countdown, guys. Let me take a look at some of your questions. So when I say options on futures, do I trade credit debit spreads or just single-legged directional options? So David, I actually favor selling options. So I actually will sell when I say options on futures. So in a case like this, where we're getting long corn, I will often sell puts, and I will occasionally use some of that premium to purchase a debit, either buy, call outright, or spread. I usually will start off legging into a position by selling options. Then once I get more confirmation, things start to firm up even better, I will look to buy a call. And I start off by buying just a directional, and then if price moves in my favor, then I'll look to sell another call against that, creating a spread that allows me to bring in a little bit more premium to help finance that purchase, if that makes sense. Think about what we're doing here, guys. I want you to think about what we're doing. So, like, if you look at this one here, this was an idea I put out today in one of our rooms. FMC, don't really give a damn about it or what it does fundamentally. What I'm looking for is this. I don't trade FMC. Don't watch it. Wouldn't even know where it's traded if you asked me on the street. But when these pop up on my radar, nobody could have predicted what would have happened. That earnings would have gapped this from 53 down to 35. That's a huge percentage decrease. I don't trade earnings. I wait for earnings to come out, and then I'll often see where they react. And look at where price stopped. Huge cluster, daily, weekly, tight levels, and this is where I'm looking to position in. So if you're an options trader, I should say, think about this. Think about this if you're an option trader. When price has dropped like this, and let's say that you like to buy calls, you buy debits. Is this not the most advantageous time to be buying a call? Think about the implied volatility of those call options. Call options are cheap. If you like to sell options like me, what is put premium doing? Put premium is exploding, but this is the opportune time to get in. This is how you get in right around here and have a reward versus risk right here. So it looks like this. And guys, this is just, we've been looking at like daily and weekly charts. We do this on 10 and 2-minute charts all the time as well. I got like 1 second left. Somebody asked about corn. So you're asking about March corn. I'd recommend going into the May contract. We're already long this thing from 430, and we've got stops at 470. So I don't recommend anything. We had WASDE report come out today. Watch for a reaction. There will be seasonal turning points here in corn that we'll analyze using our trend and